Hello, my dear students. Very good morning to all. Hope you're all doing good. Stay home, stay safe, maintain social distancing, wear mask whenever you go out, and sanitize your hands properly and frequently. So, with this, now we are going to see about food resources. In particular, how food resources are affected by overgrazing and agriculture, or changes caused by overgrazing and agriculture. We already knew that deforestation causes severe damage to the forest resources, which in turn affects environment and biodiversity in a greater way. Similarly, overgrazing is affecting the pasture or grassland in a tremendous way that it causes famine and also death of so many peoples. Now we are going to see about overgrazing. Overgrazing is nothing but when plants are exposed to intense grazing by animals for extended periods of time, that is without any limitations or without sufficient recovery periods, that is continuous grazing without allowing the plant to regrow. So this is called overgrazing. Overgrazing may be due to poorly managed livestock in agricultural practices or by the overpopulations of the native populations, that is the animals living there itself, or non-native wild animals, the animals which are relocating to a particular place. So these all causes overgrazing. The causes of overgrazing are lack of proper animal or wildlife management, drought or decline in precipitation or reduction in rainfall, overstocking of animals in a smaller area of grassland, poor irrigation methods in arid and semi-arid areas, that is the driest areas, and improper land utilizations, that is usage of land without any limitations, that is exhausting the resources. Now we are going to see about the impacts or effects of overgrazing. The first and foremost effect is soil erosion. We all know that the roots of grasses or plants log the soil and makes it rigid. So once the grass or plants are overgrazed by animals, the roots will not be there and the soil becomes fragile or the soil becomes loose. So when wind blows or water flows in that soil, it causes soil erosion severely. And when the rainfall also getting reduced, it leads to desertification. That is, the area becomes desert zone. And overgrazing causes or it induces the spread of invasive or non-native species, that is relocating of species from some other ecosystem to this ecosystem. And as a result of all these things, land degradation also caused, and it leads to loss of productivity of the soil. Biodiversity loss or useful species loss is also there because of soil erosion and spread of invasive or non-native species. At last, we should note down that since we are dealing with food resources, how overgrazing is causing food shortage and famine ultimately. So we should be clear that food shortage is caused by overgrazing and ultimately famine. It leads to death of people and livestock. How to control or what are the solutions for overgrazing? So we must have a proper management of animals. So allowing animals for a particular time period in a calculated area for grazing. And then land use management, that is proper irrigation and all other methods. So based on the land utilization, we have to manage them properly, and sustainable pasture practices. So without allowing for overgrazing, we have to maintain the pasture lands for regrowth. So this picture clearly depicts how a grassland is converted into degraded land because of overgrazing and how it is restored again into a grassland. Now we are going to see about the impacts of agriculture on food resources. We all know that agriculture is the art, science of cultivating the soil, that is plowing, watering, and then cropping, growing crops, and harvesting everything. Similarly, raising livestock are also agriculture. It includes the preparation of plant and animal products for people to use and their distribution to markets for sale. So we are getting everything from agriculture and we are selling some other products or derived products. So agriculture not only provides us food, it also provides us fabrics like cotton, wool and leather. Similarly, we are getting wood and timber from agriculture for construction and paper products. So this is one side of agriculture. Now we are going to see about the types of agriculture. So there are so many classifications, but for our convenience, we are classifying the agriculture into two types as modern and traditional. In traditional agriculture, we use small number of peoples, small land with the smaller equipments, and it is one way highly positive. But traditional agriculture, we have soil erosion, deforestation, and loss of nutrients. So there is no scientific way of approaching. Hence, these effects are produced in traditional agriculture. And in modern agriculture also, we have so many negatives and so many positives. So this table describes about the various things adopted in modern and traditional agriculture. Kindly go through it. Now we are going to see about the impacts or environmental effects of modern agriculture. So there are four major impacts. First one is the pesticide problems, second one is the fertilizer problems, and third one is the waterlogging, and the fourth one is salinity. But waterlogging and salinity are mutually going, hence I didn't give in separate line. So the problems created by pesticides or the pesticide usage problems. So the first generation pesticides, in first generation they have used arsenic, mercury and lead as pest control agents, but once they came to know that they are highly toxic and they are heavy and ineffective in controlling pests, so they have abandoned zone. Hence there is a need to move to some other generation of pesticides, so they have moved to second generation. In second generation pesticides, they utilized synthetic organic compounds like DDT, aldrin, parathion, etc. But people came to know that and they realized that these synthetic organic compounds harms non-target plants and animals. For example, apart from killing the pest, they targeted non-target plants and animals and also caused biomagnification. Similarly, this residues causes severe potential health risk like cancer and some other genetic mutations like that, and it also produced new pests. So these are the problems created by pesticides in modern agriculture. So we have to move to a pesticide which is ideal. So what are the qualities of an ideal pesticide? It should not kill the non-targeted species or non-targeted pest. For example, if we are using a pesticide for grasshopper, it should kill only grasshopper, not other pests which are not targeted. So killing only targeted pests. And it should not cause any genetic resistance in the target organism. For example, if you are targeting grasshopper, the grasshopper should not develop any genetic resistance against the pesticide what we have applied, and it should disappear or break down into harmless chemicals after killing the pest, and it should be economical, that is cost effective, and it should not affect environment in any manner. But there is no such ideal pesticide available, but agricultural chemists and chemists are moving towards a clear and ideal pesticide. Now we are going to see about the problems caused by usage of fertilizers or fertilizer usage problems. First one is eutrophication. We know that the excess nutrients which are coming from the runoff from the farmland or from land, which causes dense growth of algae. For example, the nitrates and phosphates which are from the fertilizers, we are using NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So from that nitrates and phosphates are formed. Once they mix up with the water like lake or pond or nearby water system, it will degrades the plant which is growing there, and hence causes decrease in oxygen content and allows the algal growth to higher level, that is the algal bloom. So this type of algal bloom is called eutrophication. So this is due to the nitrates and phosphates from fertilizers, sometimes the phosphates from detergents also. The next impact of fertilizer is blue baby syndrome. Again, the nitrate is the criminal which causes blue baby syndrome in babies. So, which is nothing but when a baby drinks nitrate rich water, the body converts the nitrates into nitrites. So, these nitrites bind to the hemoglobin in the body. So, instead of oxygen, so these nitrites binds with the hemoglobin, so forming methemoglobin, which enables to carry oxygen. So, instead of red, it becomes blue. So nitrates are the most common in drinking water in farming communities that use well water. So it is recommended not to use well water for babies less than 12 months old. So this contamination is due to the use of fertilizers and manures in farming practices. Again, the fertilizer causes biomagnification also. So biomagnification is a common phenomenon in both pesticides and fertilizers. So biomagnification is nothing but concentration of a substance from one trophic level into another trophic level. For example, here you can see the concentration of DDT is very less, that is 1 part, and in producers it is concentrated to 1000 times. In zooplankton 10,000 times, and in small fishes it is 1 lakh. So likewise, in the birds the concentration of DDT is very much. So this type of concentration to a particular trophic level is called biomagnification. So these are the problems exhibited by fertilizers in modern agriculture. Now we are going to see about the waterlogging problem arises in modern agriculture. Since improper irrigation methods are adopted and excessive water supply causes waterlogging in farm fields, and there is no proper drainage systems available in the farm fields. So it causes the water to be logged, rainwater or the water what we have supplied, and proper irrigation management, avoiding excess supply of water and good drainage systems prevents waterlogging. So we can avoid all the problems arises as a result of waterlogging. And the last one is salinity. So when the waterlogging is continuously being there in the farmlands, the water which is present is continuously evaporating and it leaves the salt. Since the water is from runoffs, so it carries so many nutrients in it and also minerals. So as a result, if trees are there means, even though rainfall or runoff is there means, the trees will process and makes the land clear and makes it balanced. But if there is no trees, it may be a overgrazing or deforestation activity, it makes the runoff to stay there itself and percolate into the soil. So as a result, only the water gets evaporates and it produces salinity in the land itself. So accumulation of salt at the surface makes the plants die also. So either way, so deforestation also causes salinity, and salinity in turn causes deforestation in a severe manner without allowing the plants to grow. So thank you so much for listening. So it is an important topic. So how food sources or food resources are affected by agriculture as well as overgrazing is discussed. So this is just a simple presentation. There are so many things have to be discussed. Kindly go through all other sources available. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.